haven't had anything to do with Scott Colton in almost a decade. Probably wanted nothing to do with him even longer than that. It's fucking unfortunate that I have to come up here and speak on this when I'm on my time and this is a fucking business. Why I'm a grown-ass adult man and I decide not to be friends with somebody is nobody else's fucking business. But my friends, if I fall backwards, will catch me. Scott Colton, I fell backwards. Never would have. My problem was I wanted to bring a guy with me to the top that did not want to see me at the top, okay? You call it jealousy, you call it envy, whatever the fuck it is. My relationship with Scott Colton ended long before I paid all of his bills. I have every receipt, I have every invoice, I have every email. I have the email where he says, and I quote, "I agree to go our separate ways. I will get my own lawyer and you do not have to pay anymore." That's an email that I have. The only reason the public did not see is because when I finally had to countersue him through discovery, we discovered he shared a bank account with his mother. That's a fact. And as soon as we discovered that fact and we subpoenaed old Marcia, he sent the email, "Oh, can we please drop all this?" Now, it's 2022. I haven't been friends with this guy since at least 2014, late 2013. And the fact that I have to sit up here because we have irresponsible people who call themselves EVPs and couldn't fucking manage a target, and they spread lies and bullshit and put into a media that I got somebody fired when I have fuck all to do with him, want nothing to do with him, do not care where he works, where he doesn't work, where he eats, where he sleeps. And the fact that I have to get up here and do this in 2022 is fucking embarrassing. And if y'all are at fault, fuck you. If you're not, I apologize. But what did I ever do in this world to deserve an empty-headed, fucking dumb fuck like Hangman Adam Page to go out on national television and fucking go into business for himself? For what? What did I do, Dave? What did I ever do?
Tell me.
Didn't do a goddamn thing. What's your name, sir?
Dominic D'Angelo.
Fuck the Pittsburgh Penguins. What are you doing?
I'm from Pittsburgh.
I made it really clear in Forbes, and I just want to make it clear again. Nick,
It's not his position to make it very fucking clear. There's people who call themselves EVPs that should have fucking known better. This shit was none of their business. I understand sticking up for your fucking friends. I fucking get it. I stuck up for that guy more than anybody. Okay? I paid his bills until I didn't, and it was my decision not to.
Yeah, but I shouldn't have no commented when Nick first said it. It's my fault, and if I hadn't, it's my fault. It's my
I appreciate
fault.
that.
I should have just taken it head on because you never
But
said
I'm
it.
trying to run a fucking business, and when somebody who hasn't done a damn thing in this business jeopardizes the first $1 million house that this company has ever drawn off of my back and goes on national television and does that, it's a disgrace to this industry, it's a disgrace to this company. Now, we're far beyond apologies, right? I gave him a fucking chance. It did not get handled, and you saw what I had to do, which is very regrettable, lowering myself to his fucking level. But that's where we're at right now. And I will still walk up and down this hallway and say, if you have a fucking problem with me, take it up with me. Let's fucking go. What's your question, Nick?
First of all, you're always very nice to me, and thank you. I wanted to ask you about MJF. Obviously, he played a voicemail from you before he came out. Obviously, confronted you, Punk. Why now? Why is MJF back in the fold now? How do you both feel?
Could be a big match down the line.
Sorry to keep bringing this fucking up, but I've never spoken his word in I don't know how long, so I'm a little fucking pissed off about it.
That's fine.
When it came down that he was going to sue me, I asked to talk to him. He refused. I asked for mediation. It was denied. I offered him money. He said it was not enough. He went ahead with the lawsuit and sued. It's his fucking funeral. I don't care. He shares a bank account with his mother. It tells you all you need to know about what kind of character that is.
You were always very nice to me, thank you.
I appreciate it, Nick. I'm sorry if I'm a little fucking snippy.
Just fine. Just
I'm
fine.
hurt and I'm old and I'm fucking tired.
I totally-
and I work with fucking children.
I respect the situation.
I regret not answering your question the
And
first
I
time.
only
you
asked it because I have some familiarity and just wanted some clarification on the story. I didn't break
I
the
should have
story.
just taken it head on like I did with Blake and Forbes recently.
We're all learning here, Tony. It's okay.
Don't
Thanks.
ever apologize,
This is from
Tony.
Mindy's Bakery, by the way. It's a great place in Chicago. If you like pastries and baked goods, I suggest you go there. If you like pastries and baked goods, I suggest you go there. They're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, though.
Closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. Don't you ever apologize, Tony. You're the goddamn boss. Never apologize. Never apologize. You know what Tony Khan should have done right at that point instead of apologizing? I mean, maybe he could have apologized, but he should have then taken the moment to take over the situation. Well, I apologize for not meaning it head on and whatever else, but I'm glad that we aired out some of the BS that's been going on, no doubt about it. It's on Punk's mind and maybe on other people's minds as well. So, but we're here now, and tonight was blah, 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 and coming up is this, and we got MJF, and, you know, you had a question. Let's get back to the questions with Punk about tonight's match and everything else. And we'll eat some Mindy's bakery or whatever, and, you know, slap him on the shoulder a little bit or something like that. Good Lord. I was like, he may get fired up enough that he's going to go out there and have another match tonight. But be that as it may, let's get it, you know, but instead Tony's like, well, I'm sorry, I don't know, I probably could have, like, it's like, bro, there's no control over anything here. You know, they've just gone off the rails. That press conference, I think we could have done 10 days straight. And we kind of did at that time on that press conference. That press conference was so telling and so wild. So much was learned. It was like the most fascinating thing ever. And you were allowed to see why the company is a mess, why Tony doesn't have a grasp on anybody the right way in the company, and why it's off the rails. And you can see how wrestlers can just run you over, right? And I bet Tony might even be, unfortunately for Tony, based on this type of cowardice, you know, as a leader, right in front of his entire entity of being, right there, based on this cowardice, then I'm assuming that a lot of things get done behind the scenes, like wrestlers are told, oh, never mind. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of passive-aggressive shit that's probably done. Like passive-aggressive stuff that's, like, you know, behind your back. Oh, thanks, really good. Oh, then you walk away, but then later you find out you're fired or things like that. Or you find out they didn't like you. Or they don't like what you're doing. Or they don't want you to do whatever it was that maybe that you wanted to do or they wanted to do. There's probably just so much passive-aggressive aggression that it's probably off the pages. So, but yeah, one of the best closes ever with the Mindy's Bakery there. So Road Dogg was on Chris Van Fish Fillet's podcast, which, you know, I make fun of Chris Van Vliet Van Fish Fillet, but he's always seems like a sweetheart of a guy. He does great podcasts, usually. For the most part, does a really pretty good job, you know? Really. Dead serious. So, you know, with that being said, you know, it should be something that's good. And I've heard a little bit of it. I don't know what's going on with the algorithm, why there's only 22 people here. I mean, that's a little strange. I'm trying to figure that out. I don't think Punk is innocent. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Punk did stuff and said stuff, and he took it to he kept going back to it here. He just decided he wanted to go after the media people. I mean, he was really setting up Nick Houseman. And even Punk backpedaled, you know, but I will give credit to Punk because clearly Punk was angry about this, and he had this in his head. And the first guy that asked a question was Nick Houseman. And if you remember, Punk handled it so smoothly, it was crazy. He was like, Nick Houseman asked the question, and Punk is like, you know, oh yeah, you know, are you friends with Scott? You know, and he started setting the whole thing up about, Scott, you friends with Scott Colton, right? And he was going to be like, yeah, so you're a journalist, right? but you're friends with this guy. So you know, he was trying to paint the picture of like, oh, you're leaking stuff for your buddy to make me look bad. Like, I think that's what's going on. And I don't think Punk 100% knew that, but he did believe that in his mind and was thinking that. Like, he was putting 2 and 2 together. He was assuming. Like, Nick Houseman is friends with he's friends with Colt Cabana. And he helped leak this out, whatever. So he was painting that picture, setting that up. And then, you know, I think he was surprised, everybody was, when Nick Houseman was like, well, no, and I'm not really friends with him, and he doesn't like me. And so Punk was like, oh, okay. You know, and so that reframed things, and then it went from there. You know what I mean? So it was just fascinating to listen to. And, you know, in the end, Punk was like, hey, man, I apologize to you, though, man. I'm irritated. I'm pissed off, and it's whatever. So, you know, Punk, you know, had an assumption in his brain and was going with it, and he's not wrong 100%, but he was wrong a little bit. And, you know, he didn't bury Nick Houseman after that. He could have continued, been like, I don't believe you. I don't trust you. Fuck you, in fact. And I'm not taking your question. Maybe Tony will, but I won't. You know, he didn't do that. You know, so that was, I thought that was interesting of Punk for sure. Going back and listening to that. But, yeah. Mental health. I think everybody has some kind of mental health issues at this point, you know. But Road Dogg answered a lot of questions on the Chris Van Fish Fillet podcast thing, so we can get to some of that. He's getting older, talking a little bit about that, a lot of other things, talking about the LFG series.
Last year. This year so far in the first quarter, just doing more about like content creating and a lot of opportunities coming up for all these different platforms that are purchasing live action content. You know what I mean? So we got the LFG that you've probably seen on A&E plugged. We're doing that, which is...
Yeah, so many people want live action content that the Road Dogg is right. And I told you guys about this before. Like, if you're a wrestling company or you have any access to production or whatever, a sound stage or something where you can do wrestling or stories, these companies everywhere, I told you guys, Tubi and Crackle and all these other places, problem for them is WWE is sticking their hand in that business. So even Tubi is going to be carrying Evolve Wrestling. Like, that's crazy. I thought somebody else was going to get on there. Do you know what I mean? So the fact that Tubi is covering it is crazy. Somebody else should have been able to get their show on there. You know, and instead WWE is going to do it with Evolve. You know, and I know Evolve is maybe its own little separate thing under the WWE umbrella, but it's part of it now. And, you know, that's crazy. So they're going to get, they're on Tubi, who's on Crackle. Remember Famous B was part of a 1 or 2 season show that got, I mean, they made some money. You know what I mean? All the wrestlers made a couple $1,000 from it, you know, $3,000-$4,000 and filmed for about a month. I mean, that's not a ton, but in wrestling, it's pretty good. You know, if you wrestled bingo halls, you know, 8 times in a month, you know, you might make, you know, somewhere between $200 and $800, maybe $1,000 if you're more popular, right? In a month, right? So you work your regular job, you know, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, whatever your regular job is. Then you make an extra $1,000, not bad. But if you shot on this show for about 2 weeks, which they did, you know, you made $3,000, $4,000. Now the show made a lot more because they made a deal that made them over $100,000. But it's a small little company, so there's so many opportunities for so many companies to do that. It's crazy, and but WWE took a spot, and maybe Tubi wants more. Maybe Tubi wants other independent wrestling companies and other people like that. But man, WWE took a spot. Pretty crazy.
I'd love to talk about that for a second, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet.
So LFG, let's go. And
We've been talking about LFG a lot here.
I've edited myself. But it's 4 coaches, and they each have 4 individuals underneath them. And the coaches are The Undertaker, Bubba Dudley, Mickey James, and Booker T. And so this is literally at the ground level of these people learning to become professional wrestlers, sports entertainers, and they got Undertaker teaching them how to do it. Man. And so it's the most access that I've ever seen given, because it's uncomfortable for me, an old wrestler, to give this much access to the public. But man, we are giving away the farm, and it's eye-opening for me to sit back there and watch every episode and hear Bubba Dudley talk to some young talent. And I think to myself, you know, I was lucky. I had my family to do that for me. But holy mackerel, to have Bubba Dudley, the most decorated one half of the most decorated tag team in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
The Undertaker, Mickey James, Booker T, these people, you're sitting under the learning tree of these people, and you're in the infancy of your career, man. It's I get goosebumps
Did you say the learning tree, Road Dog?
talking about it because it really is super exciting to see, man, you get to know the Undertaker as a dude, just talking to another dude about wrestling. And it's so cool, and the access is so unlimited that A&E's got a hit on their hand. I can guarantee you that.
With the era you came up in, stuff was still guarded.
Oh,
right?
man, yeah.
Do you feel like they're giving away too much now?
Look, I've asked that same question to myself a million times because it rubs you the wrong way as soon as you hear, like, oh, wait, we're going to say that? Like, you're going to let that cat out of the bag? And it's, the finish or whatever we're going to talk about. At the end of the day, I think the WWE Universe wrestling fans, they know what we're doing. They know what's up. And I think they're okay with us not insulting their intelligence, but also not just going, here's how you make a blade. And we don't do that anymore anyway, but like, I don't think they mind us keeping some things to ourselves, but they don't want their intelligence insulted.
I don't think fans realize that not everything's being told to them. Like, I think that in this day and age, people think they know everything. They're so smart because of the internet.
Yeah.
But then there's some nice little surprises that come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Van Fishfillet has a good point there because there's a lot of stuff that, like, we've talked about it where, they're sort of, they, obviously, right, they know that we know that they know that we know, that it's a work. It's not even close anymore. Like, right, like back in the day, it was like, hey, man, people are pretty smart. They pretty much know now, but we some people don't, or some people at first don't, or maybe they're not sure, and we like to blur the lines or whatever. They used to play that game in like 98 to 2006, right? Like, still they would say like, yeah, but some people don't know what's real. Now it's like, oh no, they all know it's fake, and we know it is too, and it's a show like everything else. Everybody knows that. That's what they say like 10 years ago. And now it's like, well, they know that we know that they know that we know that they know. So now what wrestling, I think a lot of potentially what some wrestling stuff does, and not Triple H every time, but Triple H sometimes, and Shawn Michaels and stuff, they start thinking, okay, if we do this, they're going to think that. But they might also think this. But what if we do that to make them think this and that, but we're really doing this? You know what I mean? So it's this like three-dimensional game that's being played now with wrestling booking compared to, what it used to be. It used to be like, hey, man, we're going to tell this story and they're going to eat it up. Watch this. Now it's like, well, we're going to tell this story and they're going to love it because, it's a good story and they'll just love it for the story. Before it was like, oh, we're really going to get them, or you know what I mean? It's like, and now it's like, hey, we're really going to get them because they're going to think one way, and then we're going to hit them with this. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's these multi-layers to it now of like, it's almost like going back to the Bryan Danielson stuff, right? With the Yes Movement. People literally thought, some people, including myself at one point, we thought that they were purposely holding Daniel Bryan back to see if the crowd could go to another level of like wanting this guy to win. Like, oh, you want him to win at the Royal Rumble? No. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to take the magical journey that every other wrestler always takes. He's not going to win the Rumble and then go to WrestleMania. That's so predictable and you can see it coming. Let's keep suppressing him and act like the big corporate entities against him, and we want Batista or we want somebody else to be there because he's a B-plus player. But in actuality, a lot of people, it was really that's what they really did want. Like, they wanted Randy Orton and Batista. They didn't want Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson. They really didn't want it. But like, I never believed that because I was like, there's no way the crowd is this loud for this guy and they don't hear this and they don't understand what's going on. But there's countless other examples of them screwing that up or Vince McMahon not listening for some reason. But they always talked about listening to the crowd, so I never believed it. It's like why some people think the Bret Hart thing was always a work, that the screw job was a work. Do you know what I mean? So, but when you get to that confusion of like, I'm not 100% sure, that's where I think you've got gold whenever you can confuse people. It seemed like they really didn't understand how much Bryan was over. But then to me, it felt like this is genius. They're purposely holding him back to make us furious. And nowadays, they will do that. They will hold Bryan, somebody back like that to make them furious. And by the way, guys, if you're coming in here, it's a weird time for me to be streaming. So I need all the help I can get. please click that like button and stick that that thumb up my ass. Okay, if you could do that, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So go ahead and stick that like button up my ass. Much appreciated. Get weird. Let's see. Let's see if I can get it. Let me see. There it is. Dono link. Here you go. There it is. We'll pin it to the top of the deal. And then we'll get your mother going. We got some more Road Dogg.
Yeah, well, that's what I love about Hunter. I call him. I've been calling him Hunter for 25, 30 years now. That's just what I call him, and I always will. He has such a vision on a granular level and at a 30,000 foot level too. Like his vision is so right now and 5 years from now at the same time. And to me, that's incredible because I'm right now in a fighting hole. How do we get out of this room? What do me and you got to do to survive? I'm that guy. Man, I don't know. He's just above and beyond anything I've ever seen. And I've been around wrestling all my life. So I've seen some smart people and been around some smart people. I never seen nobody. And this is me kissing his ass, but that ass deserves to be kissed. He has taken this industry into a stratosphere that was not even thought about, like a holy mackerel. And it's his vision. Yeah, we all got here the same way and we all come up, but man, he has stepped out in front. Not only was he,
I think one of the things that bothers people about Road Dogg is that, because Road Dogg is just so happy-go-lucky and loving it and having a good time. I just think that so many wrestling fans, we love wrestling and people love wrestling out there, but people are very jaded, right, with it. And they're very like, show me something. Where Road Dogg is like, I love everything, man. Isn't this amazing? And not everybody has that positive outlook and happiness that he has. And I mean, part of it I think is his life. He's kind of living a dream or whatever. Like me, I'm not really happy about anything. Like I'm in the worst. Maybe this could be one of the worst next couple of weeks of my entire life. I don't know. It's not looking good right now. We're in like the country's falling apart. We're in like a hiring freeze or something. I don't even know. And just a lot of people are feeling that, or feeling miserable or whatever. And Road Dogg's like, this is great. Wrestling's amazing. This is so cool. And a lot of people are out there like, no, it's not. I mean, yeah, kind of, but no, what are you talking about? So, like, I think that's what it is. He's just very positive about the product. He's very amazed, positive, blown away by a lot of stuff. Obviously, he's a company guy. He's got to talk it up. I agree with him. I mean, I'd be pushing that LFG show like crazy because if you think about things from a positive standpoint and you're a positive person and you for the most part kind of enjoy everything and whatever, you're going to think it's awesome. Shit bum. What?
Yo, Joe.
My mom just
Vulcan
bought it.
salute.
Oh no, you got 5 days after the sell-by date. Oh man, No Money G. Oh my God, the first donation comes from a literal dude who came from my Star Trek channel. That's unbelievable. No Money G dropping $5 because he has money, but he has something to drop $5. Thank you, No Money G. Oh, it's a super chat. Thank you, No Money G. There it is. Appreciate it, bro. What's going on? I hope you guys can all hit that like button. I was watching Star Trek Voyager last night with Leah. We've been watching a lot of Voyager going to bed. Man, that episode with Jason Isaacs or whatever from Seinfeld, God, is that terrible. I never watch it because I remember why, because I saw it immediately and my wife was like, oh my God, that's the guy from Seinfeld. I've never seen this. And I'm like, what? You've never seen this episode? You're about to find out why you've never seen this episode. Because the whole episode is like him just like with that same look on his alien face, like, yes, and over here we do this. Like, and it's just this weird. It was like he pitched that to the Star Trek people, like, I want lots of dialogue. I want to be this amazing thing in this alien, and I want scenes with 7 of 9. Like, it's just so weird. Like, I don't know, bro. He could do a whole, like, I don't know. Maybe some people like that episode. What I did like was that they showed this weird diversity of aliens. I like that, but my God, bro, that episode is rough. I love George Costanza, and, that guy, the actor, is it Jason? I don't remember his name. Jason, what's his name? Jason, is that his name? I don't remember. I can't remember people's name. But yeah, it was a weird episode. It was almost like he wrote the episode to creep on 7 of 9 and then to like to just do this theater acting for them. It went nowhere. It was like the Star Trek Voyager characters are like secondary to him going on these prologues or like monologues or whatever. I don't even know. I'm not the smartest person to break that down, but somewhere somebody should break that episode down into like a 1 hour thing, because Jason Alexander, thank you. What did I say? Jason Isaacs? Jesus. But yeah, what a strange episode that was. So weird. Went to bed to that last night, and yeah, Leah was like, oh, I've never seen this. I'm like, yeah, you're about to see why. NXT, guys, they got close to 700,000 viewers. They did a good rating. They really did. They popped a good rating for the most part. 689,000 for NXT. And I wonder, I think, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say that AEW does go up a little bit in the ratings. I think AEW might go up just a little bit. And I think if they had 2 or 3 weeks like the other night, they might go up, like a good amount, like maybe to 700 or 680,000 or something themselves. But I do think that they go up a little bit, 5,000, 10,000 viewers, something like that. Only because they started good and they continued off, hot. And for those reasons, I think they can, they can hold the ratings a little bit the other night. Chris Van Fish Fillet, the interviewer guy. Yes, we talked about him. We're going to be playing more of some of his clips from the Road Dogg. Obviously, we've known about Chris Van Fish Fillet for years. He's always done a good job, despite the fact that he still hasn't. That when all these people were telling him to put me on his show, he like pretended it wasn't real. I wasn't real, but then he had Midget Man on there. Kind of funny, but I'm a loser, so what are you gonna do? But it was pretty cool. It was pretty good. And Rojas did not like NXT the other day. Here's a little look at that.
Yo, so I was watching your review or your video that you did last night, and then I go and check out the ending of NXT, and that might have been like the cringiest thing I've seen in a good while. Like, not the worst thing, but oh my god, like the shaking of the camera. There's like strobe lights for no reason at all. What the? And then like Ava's terrible acting, like, oh my god, Stone, are you okay, Stone? Like, and then the writing on the wall, like, dude, it literally looks like something that like a 9-year-old would make with their friends. It was really, really embarrassing.
Thanks for watching this Joe Cronin Show short. Now subscribe for more daily blasts of wrestling content that will make your pants explode.
What a short. I mean, basically, Rojas kind of said everything I said in the 10 minutes that I ranted on NXT. But again, NXT was pretty good the other day. Like, everything before that was pretty good. Like, there was like, it was all right. NXT ran into trouble in the ending, but everything before that was all right. Unfortunately, if you just saw the ending, you would have been like, well, this is not.
I've been going to wrestling shows for
great.
over 30 years.
Tommy.
Never in all that time have I ever felt, until last Sunday, that my security, my safety, my life was in danger at a wrestling show.
Joe, how come you never take me seriously with the stuff I say? I am completely serious. I need you to tell your community to not come to my live streams. I can't even get normal comments. It's all comments about you. I am reporting you if it happens again.
Cool. I'll come and murder you. How about that? Anyway, you fat fuck, go kill yourself. Nobody watches you. Your channel's deader than mine, and you should fuck yourself. Okay, so bury yourself next to your whole family, light that cabin you used to live in on fire, and then take Hamza's family. Tell Hamza that you want to take him and the family out to the park, like a theme park for a nice roller coaster day, and then drive the van off of a fucking mountain, off a black mountain, and then crash down, and the van explodes. And everybody dies, like Lance Archer says. And as you crawl out of the van, you realize everybody's dead but you. But you're burning alive. And then suddenly you think about how hungry you are, and then you die hungry. How about that? So that's what's going to happen to you. And you can fuck yourself. But thank you for the $3. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. And your family sucks. So let's go back to a little bit of this. And we got more for you. We got more from Road Dogg, who's a little bit delusional about how great things are, but he's probably rich and having a good life, living a good life. God's good when you got a lot of money and you're living your dream, isn't it? God's pretty good when you got a lot of money and you're living a dream. You know what I mean? You know what's not good? Most everybody else's right now.
Again, this is me kissing his butt, but his tush is to be kissed. He can not only do it in the ring. I'll never forget the best thing I've ever seen in my life was Atlanta. I was sober 1 year, and him and Undertaker Hell in the Cell, and there he's got him in the thing, and he's clawing for the sledgehammer, and I've been wrestling 30 years. I get caught in my goosebumps talking about it. I'll never forget that as long as I live. Like, that was the most incredible thing I'd ever seen in a wrestling match, and I just think he can do that.
See, that's Road Dogg for you. See, listen, I love Road Dogg. I love Road Dogg. Let Road Dogg cook. But like that, like Triple H reaching for a sledgehammer, that story of that tells you where his head is. You know, there's left brain and right brain, right? A lot of people, some wrestling fans have the full brain for the flip-flop video game, and some people literally just have the brain for make me feel something. And Road Dogg is all about the feels and the theater. All the way almost. At least it sounds like it based on that clip, unless he's just trying to gobble Triple H. I mean, how long have these guys been friends and he's still gobbling Triple H? Like, I mean, but that's pretty good. That's what a good friend is, you know. But I think he really means it. I really do. I do think he means it. I think people think he doesn't, and that's why people are, you know, grumpy, angry, you know, skeptical, pessimistic about him and whatever else. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Love you. My wife just brought me food. See that? Look, I'm a loser and she brought me food. Cook Road Dogg Joe. My wife just brought me it's a ham and cheese. But yeah, you know, so when everything is going pretty good, you know, you're pretty happy with everything and you're pretty good with everything and whatever else. But you know, Road Dogg is clearly happy and happy with you know, his job.
That and think of that stuff, and then also think of, we got to come up with a Penta entrance. You know what I mean?
Is incredible.
With a pentrance.
A pentrance.
Yeah, I just came up with that. See, I'm the right now guy. No, but yeah, he's. Look, I love, me and him have talked about it many times. We love to create together. We love to have a new talent and come through the curtain and go, what can we do with that entrance that you were talking about? What kind of light can we shine on him? What kind of smoke can we throw? What do we do? And I know the people that work behind the scenes are like, Jiminy Christmas, here they go again.
Penta's entrance has everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's lights and it's flames and it's...
Well, I think one thing that you got to work on, Road Dogg, if you ever listen to this, we've got to get a new music company. We've got to get a new composer. I have made songs that are better for these wrestlers than the current composers. I can tell you that. 100%, I've made better music. AI could make better music. So, CFO, Jim Johnson, both amazing. WWE had a flawless record of music creation from the 80s to the 90s to almost all of the 2000s, up until about the year 2019, or whatever year that CFO left. Whenever CFO left, with a few exceptions, like Roman Reigns' theme is pretty good, and there's one or two others maybe. But WWE had a flawless record with music, just unbelievable with music. Now, I do like Penta's, though. Penta's is kind of like Soulfly, Sepultura, Aztec, Mexico. Like, it got this vibe, this mix, this sort of Aztec vibe to it. Like, it's like very... It is. It's kind of Soulfly, Sepultura-ish to me, metal. And so I kind of like Penta's. Penta's is pretty good. I don't know if I would change Penta's. So, in fact, that might be one of their best ones, to be honest. Now, I don't know who did Penta's. I'd love to find out who did Penta's music, because it's pretty good. Thank you for the donation, Tommy, NC, and No Money G. If you guys want to donate to the show, feel free to do it, because the link is pinned to the top of the stream. And we'll put your name up somewhere here if you're the top donator over like $10 or something. But certainly appreciate it, as I've taken time out from my job search to do the live stream. And I did a lot of work for like 4 hours last night with shorts and videos trying to get things rolling. I don't know if it paid off. Maybe that's why my videos aren't going out, because I put too many shorts up or something. I don't know how the algorithm works right now. It seems all jacked up. Also, you can send direct payments to Venmo or Cash App or patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. You can become a patron. You get all this bonus content. I'm on all these different platforms. Check me out everywhere. If you know anybody looking for a video editor, producer, voiceover, whatever, video stuff, commentary, or somebody in sales, hey, you can also message me directly on Twitter or joecroninshow@yahoo.com and all that other sort of stuff. Let's go back to listening to the Road Dogg gush over how great life is when you're rich in the best position you possibly could be ever.
It's this rotating sparks or whatever that is.
It should be, right? It's what it should be.
Incredible.
There are levels to this stuff. Roman Reigns said that in a promo, and he was so right, man. There are levels to this stuff, and this company does it at a level that will
Roman Reigns said it because he stole it from somebody else and somebody else and somebody else who all said it too. Unbelievable.
never be matched. And that's not a cut down to anybody. That's just a fact. Secretariat's the greatest racehorse to ever run. Like, there's still racehorses being trained right now that haven't broke his records. You know what I mean? Like, some things are just the best, and that's that.
Did you see this in Triple H 25 years ago? Did you see this when you were working with him back then?
So I no would be the quick answer. However, I did see, I never saw him as my boss, but I saw him as he was going to be somebody in the wrestling world, because I saw how he thought. We worked a bunch of, you've probably seen Brian Armstrong versus Terra Ryzing, you know what I mean? 100 times on WCW. And I knew then, I didn't have a clue what I was doing in there. And he was a thoughtful, putting stuff together in his head. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. And so, yeah, I knew he was going to be somebody and be something just because of the way he looked and the way he carried himself. And like I said, his brain.
What is the role that you have with WWE now?
I have no idea. I could care less, to say the truth. No. So really, I'm still the cook.
His role is like jack of all trades. And we talked about this, that the Road Dogg's like a utility player. And I think he even said it too, maybe in his podcast, that Road Dogg right now is positioned in the company is like a utility guy, which is great, because the Road Dogg, that's the great thing about Road Dogg, is he's so versatile, right? You could be like, oh my God, everybody's stuck in a snow accident. There's no one to run Raw. Only Road Dogg is around. Road Dogg could run Raw. Oh my God, the whole writing team got stuck in a snowmobile accident, and we didn't write anything for Raw, and the computers are all down. Road Dogg could write Raw. Now, whether it's great or bad or whatever, one guy writing it by himself, but he could do it. Oh, we've got a whole writing team that's going to write Raw, but we need someone to kind of oversee it, pick it apart, filter it, and then submit it to somebody. Road Dogg could do it. Oh, we need a guy who could produce a segment. Road Dogg could do it. We need a guy who could produce a match. Road Dogg could do it. We need a guy to talk to the press about what our company does and what we do and, kind of be a liaison. Road Dogg can do it. We need a guy who can sort of smarten the guys up in the back and get them ready for this and whatever else, and talent, something. Road Dogg can do it. We need a guy who can do commentary and maybe go out there and just talk for a little bit because one of our commentators threw up and the other one has, acid reflux. Road Dogg can do it. We need a guy who can teach the ring crew how to set the ring up and get the ring up because the whole ring crew's missing and they got abducted in Mexico. Road Dogg can do it. Like, bro, this is like utility player, like a veteran utility player of all these different positions. That's why when if people ever slight Road Dogg, you know what I mean? You may maybe Road Dogg ain't a 10 at everything, right? Maybe he's not a 10 at this, a 9 at this. Maybe he's not an 8 at this for you, or whatever you envision his skills to be in your opinions, or my opinions. But what he is a great, like he knows how to do all this stuff, and other people don't know how to do all of that stuff, and he could produce in the background too. Talk about there's levels to this. There's levels to Road Dogg. There's all these different levels because the guy has worked in all these different parts of the company. Not because he was bad at one and got moved, but because they could move him to maybe change some things around or bring somebody that they thought it was, hey, man, maybe we're bringing in a 10 out of a 10 and we think Road Dogg's a solid 7, but we're going to bring this other guy in. We think the Road Dogg be better over here. But that is so important. Road Dogg is really good at that. He's really good at adapting and being like a chameleon in the company for whatever that they need to do. So anyway, I mean, we're talking about the guy who probably could have gotten me hired as a commentator, and I'm not sitting here bashing him. I'm not sitting here bitter like, what a, God damn it, Road Dogg, I could be employed right now. I'm not crapping on. Why did so many other people do that? So I understand some of the things that Road Dogg has maybe done that I didn't like, or some things he said that I didn't necessarily like. but there's a lot of things he says that I do get and I do like, and I think he's vital. I think you need to have sort of another person to counter that, maybe. And I don't know how he feels about a lot of the crazy flip-floppy video game wrestling. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm more into what Road Dogg's into, but he's very into that story only. And Tony Khan is into, like, let's become the new Japan Pro Wrestling USA. And I'm somewhere like, I don't know, in the middle of that maybe. Or maybe even leaning more towards, obviously, what Road Dogg's into. So that's where I'm at. But let's listen to a little bit more. It's very interesting. But he is gobbling Triple H. But, you know, Triple H is, as he said, to be gobbled. You know?
A creative, in charge of creative of live events. But now we have.
By the way, if you want to listen to this whole podcast, there's an hour and 30 minutes up on Chris Van Fishfillet's channel. That's Chris Van Vliet's channel. My God, bro, an hour and 30 minutes with the doggy dog, baby.
Domestically, especially this coming year, we're going to find out where our sweet spot is. But a lot of overseas live events coming up this year. There's huge money there. You know what I mean? The business side of things right now are so far beyond what they have ever been before. Even attitude, all that stuff is just putting to shame what the business is doing now.
He's right. Business-wise, money-wise, money coming in-wise, he's not wrong. You could argue about the product and the time and how many fans there were, but the business side, bam, they are on fire.
With Hunter at the helm.
That's why I call this the business era. We had the Attitude Era. That was it, really. The Attitude Era, and then we had the Ruthless Aggression Era. Then we had the PG Era. I think we're in the business era now.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm a dad. I'm a granddad.
Man, that's a level above dad jokes.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm a dad.
What do you say? What? Wait a minute. What?
Never been before. Even attitude, all that stuff is just putting to shame what the business is doing now. With Hunter at the Helmsley. I know. I'm sorry. I'm a dad. I'm a granddad.
Oh my God. With Hunter at the Helmsley. I'm going to die, bro. I'm going to die.
Shame what the business is doing now.
Oh my God. I'm a dad. I'm 40. So I'm finally laughing at stuff like this.
With Hunter at the Helmsley. I know. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. I don't know what's. Oh my God. I've got to show that part on video, bro. Oh my. I don't know why it's so funny. I think it might be funny because of Chris Van Fishfillet's reaction.
Business side of things right now are so far beyond what they have ever been before. Even attitude, all that stuff is just putting to shame what the business is doing now. With Hunter at the Helmsley. I know. I'm sorry. I'm a dad. I'm a granddad.
Man, that's a level above dad jokes.
Yeah.
Granddad
There are
jokes.
level.
Oh my God, bro. I'm going to pass out. With Hunter at the Helmsley. Wow. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Levels to this.
Hunter at the Helmsley.
Yeah. That worked. It kind of worked. That girl back there laughed.
She did. Yeah.
I
With
laughed.
Hunter at the helm, things have stepped up.
Whoo. Man, it's just such a different environment.
Bro, they literally just in real time popped me, so that did work. And I think it's funnier that I didn't quite understand what just happened, and then I heard it.
I'll call them old regime and new regime. Old regime had a problem with stifling creativity. Like sometimes I'll say this, sometimes it was better to know that I knew who I answered to. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I don't now because I still do now, but there was a time when the void happened that was like, oh, who do I answer to? And so there are negatives and positives about old and new regime. Man, new regime is like Google. Like we got ping pong tables in the production meeting room. You know what I mean? We don't really.
Oh man, I love those. Oh, they don't? Oh, damn.
That'd be awesome.
But it would be. So please, if you could get ping pong and Pepsi machine. But I don't know. It's creative, and he opens the floor, and nobody gets shut down, and it's free range creativity, man. And it's incredible.
So how do you balance Hunter was your buddy, still is your buddy.
Yeah.
You ran with him for years and years and years. That was your boss. So where's the balance?
He would drive China and him in the front seat, and I would smoke a joint and try to blow it out the back so it wouldn't get in their hair or anything, you know? So yeah, we've been up and down the road. But the truth is, when he became the guy and I became a guy under him, he said, look, you can come to me and say and ask anything and do anything. Just know sometimes I'm going to say no to you. And I said, okay. You know what I mean? Like, I can handle that. I don't have to manage or balance that because he's a solid leader. He's a solid dude. And so he doesn't let you know what I mean? It's almost like you just be you. And
he's a solid dude down there.
He won't let you get out of line. You know what I mean? And it's not like he'll put you back in it. It's weird. It's weird how what a solid head on his shoulders, man. I don't know where it came from, but the bit, man, he's the smartest dude I've ever met in the business. Like, and that's, I mean, to the business. He might not can do algebra, but when it comes to wrestling,
when it comes to what matters,
yeah, he's the guy. I have never used algebra one time in my life.
There's a lot of things we learn in school.
As soon as they started adding letters, I quit. Yeah.
Hypotenuse. I don't know. I've never used that.
Yeah.
Remember when
I think that's a baby platypus.
You're right. I think it is. Remember when we were in school? Now we know we went to school in different times, but they'd say you'd never have a calculator in your pocket.
Yes. Well, I also remember I was just watching Nat Geo upstairs, and I also remember him telling us like, oh, they just discovered this at 61619 or whatever it was. Like, okay, there's a Stonehenge in like New Hampshire. You know what I mean? That's like 40,000 years old.
Remember when they told us Pluto was a planet?
Yes.
I feel so bad for Pluto.
Yeah, we've been lied to a lot, but that's science. It's ever evolving, guys, right? Come on. It's ever evolving stuff. So you got to know that. You got to know that.
You were there during the Attitude Era, and it was hot. It's hot now.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you say? Hot. My bad.
What's the biggest difference between then and now?
I think the talent, to be quite honest with you, the talent is a different animal, man. So when I'll tell you this quick story, I've told it a million times, but when Edge and Christian came in, I used to scoff at them because they were like on time and healthy and like limber and you know what I mean? Like they were doing exactly what a person in their line of work should be doing.
Yeah.
And I was still party animal, you know what I mean? So I scoffed at them and thought like, well, now that's what the athlete is because that's what the athlete has to be. You know what I mean? You have to be that dedicated to your body and to this field and all that to be that. I would have never made it today. I wouldn't have made it. Well, I mean, look at me for the love of Pete. All these guys, we just saw Carmelo Hayes, and they're all chiseled out of brick, right? They look like Greek gods.
It's almost like the stories you would hear about, like the baseball player.
My brother, Carmelo Hayes, baby. I can't believe how ripped Carmelo is. I called Carmelo Hayes' first couple matches ever, right, on the Indies. I called this guy's some of his first matches. And he was, always very lean looking and smaller. But, man, the size of him now, like the beefcake and everything else, unbelievable. Like the size of this man and the muscles at this point, for his size and everything else. Like he is filled out. He used to be a toothpick. So, very impressive from Carmelo Hayes. But he is being a bit jobbed. Yeah, I would like to see him. But he's got to get people going. He's got to get in some storylines. And we got to see what they'll let him do. Right now, he's just kind of on the main roster as a lower bottom guy. So we'll see if he can get into some stories in the future and they see anything where he can become a little bit bigger than what he is. We'll see. He's got to do it. He's got to be given the story, be given the work. He's just got to have matches right now. Just keep having matches and see if things ever evolve from there, right? That's what's going to happen. He's just not going to be the champion. Like, it doesn't make any sense. He's a smaller guy, so he's got to sort of get over in some way, somehow, in some kind of angle or matches or whatever. And Carmelo hasn't done that yet, and he hasn't been able to yet, but in the next couple of years, maybe he could. He's still, he's still young, guys. I don't remember how old Carmelo is, but I'm 40, and I remember calling some of his first matches, and I had my first matches 10 years before him, so I'm assuming and I'm friends with him on Facebook. I should probably just check his Facebook birth year. I'd probably just Google it. But, I mean, he's got to be like, what is he, 30? 32? He's younger. Yeah, he's 30. I knew it. 10 years. I was right. 10 years, because I wrestled 10 years before him. And then 10 years after I had basically retired from ever wrestling myself, I was doing commentary, calling his first matches. And now he's in the WWE. So, yeah, that makes perfect sense. 10 years younger than me. 100%. Interesting. Yeah, he was born in 94. I was born in 84. It's crazy.
Players playing drunk,
Yeah.
or playing hungover. And then you'd see someone like Tom Brady who has a coach specifically for like stretching him. Like
Yeah, it's
guys are
different.
spending $1 million on just body work.
The name of this episode should be Levels.
Levels.
Yeah, because there's levels to that. Tom Brady is the GOAT. He had that. Babe Ruth was the GOAT. He's also drunk.
Thank you for saying that,
Possibly,
Road
allegedly.
Dogg.
I don't know. Who knows?
I'm sure he was hammered.
Probably.
I want to think he was hammered. And,
Maybe.
And still hitting dingers.
Could you imagine if he wasn't?
Yeah, I would be upset. Oh, sorry.
But he's also playing
It's like
against.
finding out Sergeant wasn't a Marine.
Oh. does that rub you the wrong way?
No,
You served this country?
It did when I found out about it, but it doesn't now.
That's the character, right? Or when you
100%. I also know the human being. You know what I mean? And so that makes...
When you find out Yokozuna's Samoan.
Wait a minute. This is fixed?
What? Since when? Since when?
My dad did not tell me that part.
It's just funny to me that there is a certain group of people that will just look at the ratings and go, how dare you say this is bigger than the Attitude Era?
Yeah.
Well, people don't watch TV like they used to.
No, at all, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Here they go. Here we go. Listen, there's two reasons why we talk about the ratings. Number one, because they're a week-to-week measurable number that you can use to measure week to week. And number two, we can look at the attendance of the shows. Okay? And we can project exactly how many people are watching. This is not the Attitude Era, but it is. WWE is watched more worldwide now than it's ever been. That's one thing I will say. Probably maybe more worldwide than ever before right now. Probably true. Because of the access to all the different ways to watch it. But the ratings do matter. They do. I'm sorry to tell you that they do matter. They may not always matter as much as people think, but they do matter in some degree. But also, the company is making the most money it's ever made because this is the business era.
Like my cable went out for like a month. I didn't even know it.
You still have cable?
I got rid of cable.
That's a great.
Yeah, see, Road Dogg has cable because he can afford it, and who cares? You know what I mean? He's not like everybody else. Like, I canceled all my shit. Road Dogg's like, I got cable. I paid for it. I don't even know. Life's awesome. So you can't really trust fully somebody whose life is so amazing that they have a lot of money and they're working their dream job, like Road Dogg. You can't really trust them 100%. You know, it's like, oh, I'm a cable. I was paying hundreds of dollars to cable every month, but I didn't even know I had it. You know what I mean? Who the fuck? So there you go. He's like a lot of celebrities and people like that. Road Dogg is disconnected from reality a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just like the fans are a little bit disconnected from some stuff. So, you know, they're about to make this point, which I'm going to kind of agree with, but I'm also going to say that it's not fully true either. And Chris Van Vliet is trying to, you know, lead the Road Dogg to his water dish here.
Legitimate question. Yeah. Like, you still have cable. And so it's, look, you're not going to, I don't know. I love the fans that go on the internet and love what we do. And look, I love it. I love the fans, period. I'll say that. But man, the internet gives them a platform where, you said it earlier, and this isn't the wrestling fans, this is guilty of culture in general. We all think we know everything. Sure. You know what I mean? I've come to the point in my life now, 55 years old, where I'll literally say something to my wife and then go, honey, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I don't even know why I said that. And it's the truth. I don't know what the F I'm talking about, but I will gladly and confidently tell you.
I will say the same thing. I say a lot of shit. And I think one of the problems is people think I know everything or I'm so awesome. When I'm ranting and raving about something, in the moment, I confidently believe what I'm saying and I'm angry or I'm screaming or whatever. But in reality, I know I'm a goddamn moron. And I'm sitting in my own, you know, we're not going to go over what I'm doing, but I'm a moron.
You some shit that doesn't matter at all. And I'm sorry, I just cursed.
That's fine. You can say whatever you want.
My French. We're going to be overseas a lot.
So. You can say whatever you'd like.
But
where did the self-awareness come from
boy.
for you, where you're able to go, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about?
It's sobriety. Like, and it didn't happen with I've been sober 15 years now. And so, yeah, thank you. I did it to save my life because when I got sober, I was just done. I was done living, literally. Like, I wanted to kill myself, but I was scared my kids are going to find me with my brains blown out in the lawnmower shed. You know what I mean? Like,
that's where I'm at now. That's so weird. That's where I'm at right now, Road Dogg. Oh my God, Road Dogg. Road Dogg is what happens when things work out. Joe Cronin is what happens when they don't work out. That's so funny. Oh my God. That's why you got to go out into the woods somewhere quiet. Leave a note. That's the plan.
Done. I was done living, literally.
Yep. I got that.
Like I wanted to kill myself, but I was scared my kids were going to find me with my brains blown out in the lawnmower shed. You know what I mean? Like that's real. That really went through my mind a lot of times.
Actually thought about that?
Yo, 100 times, literally 100 times. But because I was on a vicious cycle of wake up and do drugs and wake up and do drugs and wake up and do drugs. And it was like, oh God, I don't want to live this way anymore. This ain't how my mom and dad raised me. You know what I mean?
Didn't see a way out.
No, I didn't know that there was one. And at that point I thought, well, one of these handfuls of pills is going to kill me. And when is that going to happen? You know what I mean? And so, look, I don't know what happened. Finally, I was just my brother. We were on a drive. We came from a show. I was hammered on Xanax and he just talked to me and I just cried and broke down. And the next day I called this. I wasn't working for this company, but the next day I called this company and a certain lady I knew to call and I called her and I was in rehab the next day. And that was 15 years ago. But even then, one of my biggest fears today is not being self-aware. That's probably my biggest fear. And I know I'm not. I know I say things.
God, if I went into rehab, I'd lose everything.
You know, and people are going, I just feel like I'm not fully self-aware. Man, I want to be. I don't want to be. I want to know my motives. I want to question my motives. I question my motives. I'll be honest with you about something. I questioned my motives about doing this interview because I said, why do I want to do? You called me and I jumped at it. I was like excited. And I told you earlier off screen, it's for me. It's for my ego. It's for talk about how cool I was for a minute. You know what I mean? Let me be back in front of the camera for a second. I did. And so I had to sit there and think about, is that the right thing?
What's wrong with that?
That's where I ended. This is where I ended up. You know what I mean?
What's wrong with that? Exactly. That is exactly. I wish, when Road Dogg is in that sort of humble hide stage, I feel like a lot of guys get into sometimes or not. In order to stop becoming a really self-destructive person, a lot of times, sometimes, you have to sort of drop your ego. And when you learn how to drop your ego quite a bit, you're kind of fighting against it. Whether that's God or whether that's, just trying to be more humble. So to do something that puts you on a spotlight makes it feel like, oh, I'm doing something selfish. And those guys, they start to get really humble like that and scared to do things for themselves because maybe that perception that's there. But you shouldn't be like that. You should be, you need to be you need to be that way. It's not selfish. It's you're invited to somebody's thing. Now, if you were to tweet at Chris Van Vliet or do what I do and tweet at Road Dogg and tweet at the WWE and tweet at people, hey, look at my commentary. Hey, I'm Joe Cronin. Hey, did you see my video? Ha! Now that is being selfish. That is being annoying. That is being egotistical. That is putting yourself over. That's what I do. So by being invited to Chris Van Vliet, hey, want you on this show. This is great. You just received an invitation from a friend, already gave you the okay to do it. And so you should do it because why say no when it feels so good to say yes, So Road Dogg shouldn't feel bad about this or anybody. But, I like the honesty.
I did. I said, well, what's wrong with that? I'm not the guy that needs my name at the credits at the end of the show. If I contribute somehow and the show's cool.
Wait a minute. Did he just take a shot at Hunter? Did he just take a shot at Triple H?
It was cool. But this was a moment. He back in front of the camera for a second. I did. And so I had to sit there and think about, is that the right thing?
What's wrong with that?
That's where I ended. This is where I ended up. You know what I mean? I did. I said, well, what's wrong with that? I'm not the guy that needs my name at the credits at the end of the show. If I contribute somehow and the show's cool. The show's cool. But this was a moment from, I'm enamored by you and your stardom and how far you've come and what you're doing. And so I thought, man, he asked me to sit down with him. I'm honored, but I'm also in it for selfish reasons to try to stay relevant for no reason at all.
Well, thank you for the kind words. But
dude, I've seen pictures of you with everybody when you were a kid, and now here you are. And did you set all this stuff up too? Like you did all that stuff yourself?
That's how it works.
Well, I didn't realize
you should have seen all the suitcases we had to travel here with.
You did all this stuff. You made it happen. Kudos to you, man.
Thank you.
Because I imagine you're sitting in a seat that 1 million people would love to sit in too. Not right now, for instance, but maybe when like Randy Orton's here.
That is hopefully going to happen at some point this year. I always say the best thing about podcasting is anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And the worst thing about podcasting is anybody can do it, right?
Amen. That's both sound.
And when the barrier of entry is like turn on a camera and turn on a mic, great. That's awesome. I love that anybody can do it.
Yeah.
But now we're 700 and something episodes into this, and it's like consistency is key.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's the key to success.
But it's interesting with what you were saying. Not every wrestler gets that level of self-awareness. A lot of wrestlers just want to play the greatest hits until they can't play the greatest hits anymore.
And that's sad, right? And you see it, and it's sad. And so look, I went to them in 2015 when me and Billy won the titles again, and then we were going to drop. The whole reason was to drop to the Usos. It wasn't like because we were worthy of the tag championships or anything. It was all to give it to the next, to pay it forward. And couldn't have paid it forward to two greater guys. But even then I went and said, hey, I was literally producing a match in my Road Dogg outfit because I had a match in 2 segments. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it got to be, and I said, hey, I don't want to wrestle anymore. I just said, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good here. I liked the job I was doing. I was, at the time, I don't know if I was writing for SmackDown yet, but I was on the writing team, connected to the writing team. And I'll tell you the truth, Chris, I've been out, walked down that ramp at WrestleMania, Royal Rumbles, the whole deal. I've done it all, Madison Square Garden. I've walked the aisles. I had the matches, and a nervous wreck. I hate it. It makes me so nervous to go out there, and like every night I would go, Billy, I don't know what I'm going to say, and he would just go, shut up, and hit me and get out, push me out there. Like he was the tough love guy. And because I was going to be fine, like I was going to go out there and say whatever, and it was going to be fine. But I'm in my head, man. I'm a big in my head guy. However, writing the show brought me more reward than performing.
Is it because you didn't have to deal with the nerves of being out in front of the bright lights?
Probably. And truth be told, I hadn't thought about that at all until just now, as far as the nerves part and all that. But what I really loved was having my fingerprints, and this sounds cocky and arrogant, and I don't mean it to, but to have my Salt Bay on a WrestleMania, like a show, like 2 nights. You know what I mean? And I'm talking from entrance order to, and I'm not saying I came up with that. I'm saying but I was in on that part. You know what I mean? And like, holy mackerel, to sit in on those meetings and to be a part of the creating and to have ideas of what if we directed our music with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. As we let it roll there while I was eating. Road Dogg on drugs or drunk? He took loss. No, I don't think so. Road Dogg's sober, man. Unless you're talking about like an old comment he was making or something that he was talking about a while ago or something like that. No, he's sober. Road Dogg sober. But that's about it. You can hear the whole thing. It's an hour and a half long. Chris Van Vliet did Road Dogg there. I'm going to be peeling through it to grab some clips, grab some reaction, maybe make some videos talking about things as we learn them or hear them from Road Dogg and everything else. That was pretty good stuff. I found it fascinating, and maybe you guys will too. I hope everybody has a good day. I'll catch you guys later. And if you guys want to support the channel, there's multiple ways. There's paypal.me/Joe Cronin Show. There's patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Streamlabs, live donations, you know that. Super Chats, become a member. We have a lot of members. And everything else that we got going on here. Thank you for being a part of the shows. And I might be live tonight, and we'll see what happens with wrestling. SmackDown's Friday. It wasn't good last week. See what it does this week. And they got a lot of work to do on SmackDown. Let me tell you, 'cause that's a mess right now. Thank you, Jay Swiss, for being a member in the chat. And thanks to everybody else. Have a good day.
Where he works, where he doesn't work, where he eats, where he sleeps. And the fact that I have to get up here and do this in 2022 is fucking embarrassing. And if y'all are at fault, fuck you. If you're not, I apologize. But what did I ever do in this world to deserve an empty-headed, fucking dumb fuck like Hangman Adam Page to go out on national television and fucking go into business for himself? For what? What did I do, Dave? What did I ever do?
Tell me.
Didn't do a goddamn thing. What's your name, sir?
Dominic D'Angelo.
Fuck the Pittsburgh Penguins. What are you doing?
I'm from Pittsburgh.
I made it really clear in Forbes, and I just want to make it clear again. Nick,
It's not his position to make it very fucking clear. There's people who call themselves EVPs that should have fucking known better. This shit was none of their business. I understand sticking up for your fucking friends. I fucking get it. I stuck up for that guy more than anybody. Okay? I paid his bills until I didn't, and it was my decision not to.
Yeah, but I shouldn't have no commented when Nick first said it. It's my fault, and if I hadn't, it's my fault. It's my
I
fault.
appreciate that.
I should have just taken it head on because you never
But
said
I'm trying to run a fucking business, and when somebody who hasn't done a damn thing in this business jeopardizes the first $1 million house that this company has ever drawn off of my back and goes on national television and does that, it's a disgrace to this industry, it's a disgrace to this company. Now, we're far beyond apologies, right? I gave him a fucking chance. It did not get handled, and you saw what I had to do, which is very regrettable, lowering myself to his fucking level. But That's where we're at right now. And I will still walk up and down this hallway and say, if you have a fucking problem with me, take it up with me. Let's fucking go. What's your question, Nick?
First of all, you're always very nice to me, and thank you. I wanted to ask about MJF. Obviously, he played a voicemail from you before he came out. Obviously, confronted you, Punk. Why now? Why is MJF back in the fold now? How do you both feel?
Could be a big match down the line.
Sorry to keep bringing this fucking up, but I've never spoken his word, and